Not much happening this morning, Kingy. Good morning to you.
What a night. How good's footy? How good's footy? In the red, white and blue corner, undefeated 5-0 with points wins against Michael Talia and Caroline Wilson, and by knockout against Tom Morris at the MCG, Mark Harvey at the precinct on a weekly basis, and Damien Barrett at the Brownlow medal at the urinal at 173 centimetres and 195 pounds. Luke, you've got a nerve, Beveridge. In the teal, silver, and brown at the rear of the shorts. 0-2 in 2 fights. He took the loss at the Ramsgate when he was at home. And humbled by Nathan Brown at gather round of 2024. Undefeated in 4,222 opinions at 183 centimetres and 132 pounds. Hurricane Cornes!
You idiot. You idiot. What time did you get here to do that?
4 in the morning. I'm met like a couple of ballers here, haven't been to bed. Oh, mate, here, jeez, how's your night?
You idiot.
Before we get stuck into it, how are you?
Good.
Did you get any sleep?
Not a lot of sleep. It's a long way back.
Oh, God. Did you think on the way down that this could potentially happen?
No, I didn't. I hadn't given it a second's thought. To be fair, clearly you get your pre-match schedule of what you're going to be doing in the broadcast, and it had nothing to do with the Western Bulldogs for obvious reasons. So no, I didn't. To answer your question,
I was looking forward to round 17. I got this totally wrong. I was disappointed with myself. I'm thinking Kangaroos versus the Dogs. It can't go anywhere. That'll be the round. Christmas come early.
Yes.
Right, I need to ask you, so the ballers out there need to know, right?
Well, this guy says, I've been out all night, and I'm not going to bed until I hear about Bevogate.
Now, so there's a few quick. I was going to bring one of those dolphin torches in this morning, just shine it in your face, and just do the sit down. What was said? How did it start? What happened with the very start of the vision that I've all seen? I think comes in a fraction late. What happened and what was said?
And you couldn't see me in the vision either at the start. Well, I was standing on the close to the boundary line, just in front of where we had our sort of LED pod getting ready to go on TV. Anyway, I was just sort of staring out blankly into space to the players warming up, and just out of the corner of my eye, Luke Beveridge and the crew started walking towards me, and I thought, okay, this is going to be interesting. How do I play this? So I just stood there and looked out, and as he came closer to me, he was staring at me strongly with a strong look on his face, and that was probably from 10 or so metres away, and as he got a little bit closer, I looked back, and I just said, Bevo, just nodded my head. And then the reaction was the reaction that you saw.
Which was what?
Well, I don't know if it's for me to share what...
Yes, it is.
For what he said. I'm happy to tell you exactly my part in this. Other than to say the hello, well, the Bevo, I didn't say hello, I just said Bevo and nodded my head, wasn't received well.
So what did he say?
Well, he just...
You will!
Wasn't that strong. He just, it was something along the lines of, you've got the nerve to say that. And I just said, well, I can't say hello. And then he turned around again and started to go again when he was dragged away. But it's Kingy, it's okay. It's fine. Like he's combative. He protects his club. I've got no issue with it. We can have a bit of a laugh about it, I think.
No, well, there's a bit more to be played out. People want to know. People want to know. I think people are fascinated by these sorts of clashes. They are. So we've got to converse. So why did you walk after him? Did you think at any stage that could have got a little bit more than
what you really wanted?
Well, not really, because I mean, it was never going to become physical. He had he had his own security guard. He had a couple of club officials pulling him away. It was more just the flinch reaction. It was, it's a bit of a shock reaction, I guess, when you're not expecting something. So your initial instinct is to walk over and just sort of say what, and did I hear that correctly, type of thing. But it was over pretty quickly.
So are you surprised by how much coverage it has received, or not?
Not really. I wasn't. I mean, once you have the pictures of it, and it's amazing how quickly it goes around. I think it went pretty quickly on social media with some big accounts that had captured it.
It lit up in a heartbeat.
And then you've got the decision of how you do it during the broadcast as well. And I think you've got to lean into these things and go to places that perhaps are slightly uncomfortable, which we did. But once again, like he played it down after the game. I'm not the first person he's had a run in with. As you said, there's been many. I mean, Caro, Damo, Mark Robinson. There's been plenty of those. Tom Morris and myself. So he's a combative character. I'm sure I won't be the last. And we move on.
So a couple of questions that have come from the people out there. So do you think, your opinion, do you think this is good for the game? And I've been involved in one of these. So I just want your opinion in how you feel about all this. Coach, media, coach to player, those sort of interactions.
It's not something I've given a whole lot of thought. Like it wasn't contrived. It wasn't set up. Is it good for the game? I don't know if it's good for the game. People seem to like the drama, and it seems to have a lot of interest. Is that good for the game? I don't know. I think it's all part of it. Like my job is to call things as I see it. I've been pretty strong on the Western Bulldogs. I would say it's been game related and football related. I think Luke himself is straight into areas that are quite personal with me, including bringing up my wife in the past, which I thought was interesting. I think my commentary has been around their ability to defend and how many goals they concede consecutively. I've spoken a lot about their list and has Luke maximised the list that he's had.
Which in itself is personal, though. You're talking about a man's job.
Well, it's football. Yeah, it's football, but it's football.
Yeah.
Though. I mean, we
hard to separate the two, though.
But maybe. But we have those conversations all the time. You and I, and yourself would have had that many, many times over your career. And if you can't have that conversation, then it's going to be difficult. And yeah, I thought it was time for the Western Bulldogs to select a new coach last year, and I wrote a column on that. Not to say that, and I've said this multiple times, there's going to be a picture of Luke Beveridge hanging at the Whitten Oval forever because of the legend that he is at that footy club. And I've always said that. We see things differently. That's fine. I won't be the last one he disagrees with, and that's okay.
Making it very difficult for me to get him on here. You set me a challenge at the start of the year, and I feel like you've just harpooned that. You've just made sure.
Well, I don't know, because I heard him during the week, and I reckon we might be a chance.
And he's just a baller.
He no baller, I can tell you. So just two more, and that's
Got
it.
some notes.
Yeah, well, people ask me to ask these questions,
Okay.
right? When you do these stupid things, my phone lights up like it's my fault.
That's stupid. Well, you were pretty strong, weren't you? You sent me a text message about what you said.
Well, I always get nervous that what's going to go in print is not actually what's said, and it reads differently, right? And all I've said is, I just think there's no winners when these sorts of things happen, and you make intelligent people look foolish. Whether it's you or whether it's Luke, I don't think anyone wins out of it personally, and I don't think it's a great thing for the game. But sometimes it's unavoidable. So I understand how it happens, but I don't think there's any winners. Did Channel 7, how do they handle it? Did they have a word to you at all? And once it had happened, or post match, how did they unpack, as they say these days, the whole situation?
Well, pretty well. I think the first thing, Nick, because Nick was there as well, and pretty much
he was trying to pull you back.
Saw the whole thing. I think Nick asked the question if there was the vision of it, which they had, and then there's a decision to make. Do you run the vision and do you talk about it? Or they were also conscious of it being a huge game and wanted to talk the game up and didn't want to take the focus off that. But I think once it started doing the rounds on radio And once it was out there on social media, I think Channel 7 had an option but to run the vision. So I just stayed down on the boundary for a little bit extra when I would have been up in the commentary box by then. We, through Beck and Mitch, asked the question, showed the vision. I tried to explain what had happened, and then we moved on pretty quickly and didn't really reference it throughout the game or at halftime.
Yeah, so a couple of people texting. I haven't changed my tune. I just think that's always the case. Take Kane out of it. These are events that make people, intelligent people, look foolish. Last question: does it make you think about the manner in how you do things and the worth of some comments over others?
You think about that all the time. Like you think about, people think you just say things. You don't just go and say things. So you think about that all the time. Does Luke Beveridge having a crack at me after I've said hello change my opinion? No. Not at all. Like, and I think there's not really anything that I have said about the Western Bulldogs that I wouldn't have said again. You think they finished the season strongly last year, so yeah, okay, maybe I was touched hard on them early, but it was largely around positional staff and selection and personnel and their inability to defend run-ons and halt momentum. So I wouldn't really change any of that. Kingy, you know what it's like. It's fine. He played it down after the game. He said there was nothing to see. I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it. I think we'll be laughing about it in a couple of weeks, don't you?
Well, yeah, I'm laughing about it now. I've been laughing about it for 12 hours, or 6 hours anyway. I feel like we just finished. Look, I think people are coming at a lot of messages about John Ralph. John Ralph's entitled to frame what happened.
Now, I haven't seen any of your coverage, so I wouldn't have any idea.
He mentioned that, and again, this is in real time, so people can be overly sensitive and overly critical. He said that words to the effect that area is almost a coaching safe space. And I don't know if that's the words out of the Dogs or if that's the word from John himself, and there is a level of truth to that.
On the ground.
Well, walking from interview, he's committed to come to
Yeah,
Fox.
I had no idea. How would I know where he's going?
Exactly.
He could have been going to the interchange bench. He could have been going.
No one's holding you responsible or him really, but for him to get to A to B, there's a level of trust that everything will be okay on the way there.
Yeah, I mean I'm not defending myself, but our TV position was right there. So I'm not sure where Ralphie wants me to stand.
No, he's not saying you. He's just saying it's considered like coaches have got to get around. It's their workplace, their safe space.
Yeah.
And people are hot on that. I think that's the number one.
Okay.
Bit of feedback from John.
Probably rightly so, I would have thought, because I'm not sure where I can't disappear
No, he's not
into
saying
a
you
pothole.
should disappear.
So what's he saying?
He's just saying
That's why I've got security guards and multiple people around them to escort them through that situation.
Well, I want to touch on the security guard.
He thought it was hilarious. Did you have a look at his face?
Now, the Bevo security guard is a bit like the car you bought for Big Sexy, right? He's really good at walking pace.
Big Sexy!
When he had to run around the boundary, not so smooth. Not so smooth. My God.
BT picked up on this during the call.
Did he?
He said he just looks like he needs a knee replacement.
He does. He had some issues, this boy. It made me think, what's going on with the security guard? Anyway, and I thought while we're just sort of clipping those on the edges, I thought Elliot, our man, the media guru from the Dogs, he was moral support only. He if there was any sort of confrontation, he was 3 steps safe side. 3 steps. So I think the media dudes need to harden up in this situation. Kevin Costner style in Bodyguard, throw himself across the front.
I love that movie. All right, I feel like we've addressed that. If you've got
the ball is happy with that.
Anyway, let's talk some football, because what did we see last night? That was unbelievable for the Toolkit Depot. Toolkit Depot's tax time sale is on now. Kingy, what's your first thoughts?
First thoughts are, I love that these two teams have rigid, rusted-on strengths. And they say, if you're going to beat us, you've got to defeat. So from the Dogs' point of view, you've got to defeat our handball game. The ability to take it from inside to out and get to the absolute extremities before we kick. If you can do that, you're in the hunt. And then the Cats say, well, if you blast the ball forward or can't handle our pressure, you're in all sorts. We've got guys in the forward line that can light it up and can score. We just got to give them quality supply. And it was just an arm wrestle all night. They got out to a 5-goal lead. I couldn't believe it was 5 goals. and then they fought all the way back. It was just one of the games of the year.
One of the best game I've seen this year. It was amazing to be there, really. And I just thought you're right. Like the Bulldogs' midfield strength when Richard started to get going, you thought they were just going to overwhelm them. Geelong's ability to hang in there, hang tough. I thought their ball control in the last quarter and their ability to possess the ball, high level of uncontested mark in the last quarter, just took a bit of the momentum out of it. And Bulldogs wanted a stoppage game. Geelong didn't give them that. And they can seriously run Geelong. Like, if you want to play on that side, you got to be able to run. They've only lost one last quarter for the year. They won another one last night, and they can all run. And just to see the way they covered the ground, led by Bailey Smith and Max Holmes, who was enormous last night, was awesome. But I just thought the level of toughness and contest that we saw last night was as good as we've seen. And I just want to say about Bailey Smith, like, a big week for him. Like, no one's had a bigger week. And I thought for him to be able to absorb that, to put his head in the hole multiple times and impact the game like he was able to do. 25 kicks in the end, 7 score involvements, started really strongly. For him to be able to cope with that, I thought it was a great level of maturity, because that wouldn't have been easy. Nothing has been built up bigger than that game, and he's been the centrepiece of that. So to be able to deliver individually, I thought was an amazing performance.
Yeah, and I think often when we talk about Bailey Smith, Holmes gets left out of the discussion. That goal, that running goal, 3 bounces, bang, to finish at the end of that run like that is so hard to do. And it looked like he was just cruising. And Holmes, well, he was out of tickets chasing. It was Carl Hooker all over again.
So I said remember Dangerfield, he's laughing at us because early days of Holmes' career, Dangerfield said, this kid's got Judd-like tendencies, traits. And we all said, well, Dangers, yeah, that's a big statement. Chris Judd. And then you see him bounce goal. You thought, oh, we'll see what he's talking about there. But yeah, he was huge. I don't think Tom Stewart's fit. I think he's
battling.
He's hobbling, but was able to get through. So he's wounded. I think that's going to be an issue for them just in terms of management at his age with that knee and getting him right for finals. Dangerfield's the other one, of course. So to do it with him on sort of one leg and Dangerfield not there, yep, don't shoot me down. I know Sam Darcy wasn't there for the Dogs as well, and they're missing a couple, but just a great game of footy.
This is my discussion with you constantly about the Dogs. I think their top 6 are exceptional, and their bottom 6 cost them in big moments, in big games. And it was evident again last night. So when you talk about list, I want you to think of this game.
But I would say to you, the flip side of that is Geelong's bottom 6 aren't great either.
No, but they're safer.
Why
They don't have the clangers that the Dogs' bottom 6 had. They froze under pressure
Yeah,
last
I could
night.
argue Buse kicking inside, turnover to West goal. I could argue Mullen. I could argue Duncan.
Mullen's been in good form.
He's been in a defensive role, but he's not safe when he gets the footy in his hands, and he's prone to errors. So I think there's still a few for the Cats' bottom 6.
Anywhere near
O'Connor.
as many. Haven't got anywhere near as many.
But
as
you're
the
right. They
Dogs.
made some. Their bottom 6 couldn't actually cope with some of the pressure, but I thought that went both ways. I thought there were some critical errors from the Cats as well.
I talked to you about after the break. A stoppage is going to be as critical in September as ever. Hey, clearances. I want to talk about clearance because we're all saying it's a ball movement game now, and different teams have different assets. So the Dogs kicked 76 points from stoppages last night, 11 goals, 10. And if they had converted their centre bounce opportunities, they had 10 scores from centre bounces, 4 goals, 6. So is this just a weapon that can actually catch teams out who are tracking and tending towards ball movement, and then you get whacked between the eyes by the Dogs?
That's what it looked like it was going to be last night. Just the moment. And English is, to be fair, he's been much better. The last 5-6 weeks been excellent. So that's handy. Would have been nice if they sent him to that defensive stoppage, Kingy, where O'Donnell gave the free kick away. Tim English just sitting on 50. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I sit next to Lee Montagna every Sunday, and the amount of times second rucks give away free kicks that cost goals in the defensive 50, why do they even bother?
Just send him there.
Just lose the hit out. Just stand there, man. So I think they made a blue in their physical programming last night. So English come on at the 15-minute mark of the first quarter, the 14-minute mark of the second, the 14.5-minute mark of the third, and he was stuck on the ground to the 19-minute mark of the last. Now, that didn't allow them to get their gaps right in terms of having him there for those costly moments, lateness. So he didn't go to one, and then you wonder whether that 3 minutes with him and Bont on the bench was when the game was swung. They won 9 of the last 10 clearances, the Cats. 9 of the last 10.
So the Western Bulldogs, I want to put this to you. This is the ladder position currently of the teams they've beaten.
The Dogs.
North, 17th.
You won't learn, will you?
Carlton, 11th.
You won't learn.
St Kilda, 13th. The Giants, 8th. Port Adelaide, 15th. Essendon, 10th. So if we're going to have the discussion around Hawthorn, we have to have the discussion around the Dogs. I know the performance, they weren't disgraced last night at all.
It's one of the best games of the year.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you, but I think you need to put it on the agenda. They have not beaten anyone.
Yeah, but if you get consumed with the W's and the...
I'm just putting it to
I'm
you.
just giving you a
there
counter,
it is.
I'm just giving you a counter argument.
Facts are the facts.
Yeah, but also that you've got to keep things into context. I mean, last night they played one of the best teams on the road and performed unbelievably. So if you want to take the negative, NAF style, take it, right? I tend to say that brand of footy against 90% of teams is going to be a winning brand of footy.
Unless it's against Brisbane or Gold Coast or Geelong.
Yeah, I tend to disagree.
Okay. Just 17th, 11th, 13th.
Where are they going to
8th,
finish then?
15th and 10th. Well, they'll play finals.
Where will
as
they
I
finish?
Said, they're in the top 6. But you're not winning it if you're finishing 5th or 6th unless you're Brisbane.
Well, we had one last year.
Or the Dogs in
You're arguing with
2016.
yourself. You didn't let me
it's
in.
rare. It's rare very rare.
Welcome to Negative at First
For you
Sight.
to win outside the top 4. It's
find
much
that?
easier to win it inside, and they're going to have to start beating some good teams and not beating up on the lesser lights
They
like
will.
North and Essendon and Port Adelaide
Just
and
chill.
St Kilda
Just chill.
if they want to be a
You'll
genuine
be
threat.
eating your words
Okay.
in a month.
All right, we'll see.
They'll stack the wins from here.
Well, they will because they got to.
That's all you have to do. And play like that. I mean, they were all square with, 8 minutes to go. They got Sam Darcy to come back, the best player in the competition, forward of centre. Like, there's just so much upside for them.
They also
see
had
it.
20 goals kicked against them.
Yep.
And 6 in one quarter.
Now, this is a discussion. So they've got Jones, who I think is either injured or
Got
on
a
the
calf.
sidelines at the moment.
He's got a calf, but he was dropped.
Yeah, I look at Aaron Norton, and it just haunts me and hurts me to keep talking about Aaron Norton. If he was at centre half back, would he have been able to do a little bit more to assist that back six in intercept possessions? Yeah. They had 49 intercepts last night. They won the ball back 49 times. Their second worst performance for 10 years. They don't interrupt opposition ball movement.
I don't want you to get banned by questioning where Luke Beveridge plays
All
his
footy
players.
chat's fine.
Yeah,
Footy chat's fine.
Most of it's been footy chat. Last night, clearly, they're going to play him forward because they don't have anyone else to play forward. But
yeah,
you're talking to me about Aaron Norton, so I feel like we're talking naffs here. Like I just don't think he's a damaging player. I just don't.
No, I think he can be.
I don't think he marks the ball. I don't think he is the mark that his reputation says that he is. He gets his hands to a lot of balls, and often they don't stick. Now, he kicked 3 last night. They would have all been from the goal square. A couple of Joe the Gooses out the back, and one because Tom Stewart dropped an easy intercept mark. So his numbers look fine. 3 goals, 10 disposals, but he's not in the top 15 key forwards in football.
He's had 4 or 5 marking opportunities the last 3 weeks spring out of his hands like he's holding a trampoline.
So I asked you every Monday for the last 4 weeks, Marby Chol or Aaron Norton, and you keep saying Aaron Norton. Are you starting to waver or not?
I still like him I still love him as a player,
but not as a forward.
Well, I would have explored him at centre half back by now.
Yeah.
When the opposition key forwards kick 6 and 5, you'd be derelict in your duties not to have the discussion at match committee. And O'Donnell's doing a great job and has made some giant strides. And Lobb had some moments last night which were really good.
I thought so, yeah.
But if you flipped Norton and Lobb, would you have got a better result?
Possibly. Let's have a listen to Bailey Smith, this time speaking to Channel 7. He went again.
Oh, that's the beauty of the club is that, they let you be yourself and probably don't make you try and conform to something you're not, sort of like previous years. So, I'm just grateful that they're, welcoming me. And
it's a solid whack, isn't it?
But I think that to me, whenever I hear this, right, I think it's advertising for the next acquisition,
Yeah.
for the next player.
To the Cats.
So if they say they're in for Jamara, right, just pluck a name.
Mm.
Come down here, be yourself. It's not like other clubs. It's more relaxed.
Not like previously.
It's not like I was hamstrung previously. Gee whiz. I thought he spoke brilliantly last night.
So did I think I think he speaks brilliantly all the time.
He's such an entertainer. Oh, more of it, please.
I think we nailed last week's.
What do we go last?
You went
week?
with Essendon's defenders.
How'd they go?
Not good.
Not good.
And I thought Adelaide's,
go?
I had them in the gun because they should have kicked 12 between them when it was the Thrill Seeker, Walker and Fogarty against Billy Frampton.
Right, wet day, though.
Billy Frampton. And they managed 4.
Don't do
No,
that.
he did a great job.
I heard you do.
Billy
I
did
heard
a
that.
great job and value for money recruit right up there. So no shade on Billy.
I don't like Adelaide.
More shade on the Adelaide tall forward. So this is in the gun for Grace.com, Australia's leading online auction marketplace. Just before we get to that, I've never seen so many text messages come through in one hit on
is a topic.
current players that would have thrived in the 80s.
We have to do 10 minutes on this
My
later.
goodness.
I
Jack
know.
Silvani, Weddle, Maynard getting a
Don't mention.
lot of...
Yeah, we'll do them properly in a minute.
Jack Viney, Pal Pepper, Newcomb, Jeremy Cameron, Tom Stewart. There's a couple. Just a taste. There's
taste.
millions of them. Who's in the gun?
Well, my in the gun this week is Tom Barras.
Ooh, I like it.
Because if you're going to give up what you've given up to get this guy, he has to be the reason you win games. He's averaging 6 intercepts a week, which is outside of the top 20 in the competition. He's averaging 2.5 intercept marks a week, which is outside the top 15. He needs to stand up. He needs to be the reason now in the back half of the season they start winning games. We give them a couple of months to find their feet and to settle into a new system and new surrounds. Now it's time to step up and deliver and be the reason the Hawks win
Like
games.
it. I see Jeremy Cameron kick 13 in 2 weeks, and I go, it's been a while since Charlie Curno's kicked a bag. And it's a good opponent. I understand it's Buckley and Taylor. Well, it's Taylor.
Like it.
Kick me a bag, for goodness sake. So he kicked 4 in round 7. That was against North, who had their troubles, to be fair,
Had a few
with,
challenges,
with key defensive
With
problems. And we
most
had
things.
we had Pink Monday on Monday, which was great to see him.
Could Pinky do it again?
To see him
If he
do
does
that.
it again, I'm singing a song about
He
it.
then kicked 5 against guess who? North Melbourne in round 20 last year, and he had a 4 against the Dogs. He doesn't kick many bags, and when I see Hogan kick bags, I see Elliott kick bags, I see Gunston kick bags, I see Peter Wright kick. I want Charlie Curnow to kick a bag. So he's in the gun for Grace.com, Australia's leading online auction marketplace. It's easy to buy and sell with Grays. That's it. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Just take
Grays
control while I get
online.
mine.
Get there. Now, will you get yours?
Here it is.
Yeah, mine's a bit better than yours. Mine's got all the stickers on it. All the grey stickers. And I am sold that Tom can be the man, but you need to see it, don't you, Tommy Barras?
You do need to see it. And I have.
Who would be the All-Australian key post defenders right now? It's a tough discussion.
It is a tough discussion.
Right? And made me think, if there aren't 2 that have had All-Australian seasons,
Correct. You need an All-Australian year.
what will you do?
Well, we'll sort it
You'll
out.
squeeze another
We've
midfielder
got a
in there.
meeting next week. We'll sort it out.
Do they have to have had
Yes.
All-Australian calibre seasons?
Absolutely they have.
Well, how many have had it?
Absolutely they do. Well, we've got a long way to go.
No.
We
at
got a
round
long way.
11, where do we sit?
We'll sort that out. Get together and put our heads together and sort that out.